There's an item that gives insanely high cooldown reduction. Maybe not infinite, but still it could give cooldown reduction that is equivalent to 6 haste items. And sometimes it could give you even more. I'm talking about Navori Flickerblade. And I was completely honest about cooldown reduction that it gives. Champions with high attack speed like Tristana really gain more cooldown reduction with this single item than with 6 full haste items. That's Tristana with 6 haste items, her W has cooldown of 8.8 seconds, and that's Tristana with Navori Flickerblade. Her W has cooldown of 7.5 seconds. In this example, Navori gave Tristana cooldown reduction that is equivalent to approximately 192 haste, which is a lot of haste. I'm not gonna deny that Tristana mid is annoying, but ADCs that build Navori Flickerblade are balanced, because ADCs deal most of the damage with auto attacks, and their abilities are not that impactful. Also, they have to build Essence River, so they don't run out of mana. I think there are no problems with ADCs building Navori Flickerblade. However, there is a huge problem when Navori is being used by champions like Volibear, Tryndamere, Yasuo, Yone and Yi. Their abilities are much more impactful than abilities of ADCs. Yes, Tristana with Navori can jump more, Xayah will stun you more, Sivir could spam more, but Yasuo could just outplay you with a wind wall, and with Navori it has very low cooldown. Volibear will stun you more, get a shield and lifesteal. Tryndamere gets infinite sustain, slows and insane mobility. Yone just spams more, Master Yi will outplay you with his Q. I think it's obvious who benefits from Navori more. If we rely on stats from League of Items, Volibear builds Navori Flickerblade very often. Volibear has high impact abilities with long cooldowns. With Navori his cooldowns become irrelevant. His attack speed is okay, but Navori is broken on him because he can cancel auto attack animations. Also, he will never run out of mana because Rod of Ages gives him infinite mana. Tryndamere doesn't build Navori as often as Volibear, but its peak rate is still high. Just like Volibear, Tryndamere has high impact abilities that are balanced out with long cooldowns. But with Navori, those cooldowns become irrelevant. And Tryndamere doesn't have mana, which means that he can sustain and spam forever. Yasuo, Yone and Yi don't build Navori that often, but their win rate with Navori is too high. Yasuo gets almost permanent wind wall, and he makes good use of Navori because his Q applies on hit effects. Same goes for Yone. His Q counts as an auto attack, and he can spam more. Master Yi has high attack speed by default, his passive gives him double auto attacks, and with Navori he could outplay you with his Q more easily, because his Q cooldown becomes so small. Melee champions benefit from Navori more than ADCs, and ADCs don't get enough from this item. Solution is absurdly simple. Riot don't have to change its stats nor passive. Just make it available only for ranged champions, like they did to Runaan's Hurricane. Then this beast just can't build it anymore, and he would become more balanced. Then there are no crazy cooldown reduction builds for those guys. Melee champions benefit from Navori Flickerblade more than ADCs. If Riot made Navori available only for ranged champions, they could even give it a buff, because ADCs that build Navori are weak, and buffing it would have a positive impact on them. I don't see any negatives with making Navori available only for ranged champions. Volibear has other builds and he still would be strong. Tryndamere doesn't rely on Navori that much, so he still would be strong. Yasuo, Yone and Yi don't build it that frequently, so they wouldn't notice this change. I don't wanna be that guy, but I'm so close to 250 subs, so please subscribe.